The Rotary Club of Lethbridge and the Lethbridge Herald would like to welcome you to the 2010 Lethbridge Citizen of the Year Award.
I'm pleased to say we had a number of great nominees this year and had a great committee and a group of people helping us decide on the winner. My name is Courtney Atkinson and I'm the chair of the 2010 Lethbridge Citizen of the Year. Richard Davidson certainly is a deserving winner this year, a man who has spent his entire life giving back to the community of Lethbridge, coming from a family who's done so for generations and just benefited Lethbridge in so many ways. We're just really pleased, with the Lethbridge Rotary Club and the Lethbridge Herald to be involved with this and to have the opportunity to try and recognize so many people who have given to the community and in some ways are challenged with the job of choosing a deserving winner, but indeed this year Richard Davidson is that man, and we appreciate what he's given over the period of his life.
Well, we introduced the Citizen of the Year Award 5 years ago now into Lethbridge. It was the Lethbridge Rotary Club. We were looking for a community service type of an event which represents the four truths of Rotaries, which is primarily service above self. I'm Bob Carey. I'm the Vice President and General Manager of the Lethbridge Herald. Congratulations to Richard on being selected as Citizen of the Year for 2010 and joining a growing list of distinguished past winners. Born and raised in Lethbridge, Richard's long history of community involvement and volunteerism has helped so many people and organizations in our city, and is representative of the cornerstone of the award, which is leadership and volunteerism. From Meals on Wheels to being the Chancellor of our fine university, Richard's volunteerism has spanned over several decades, and he continues to be actively involved. Again, congratulations, Richard, to you and your family on being selected.
Richard is really admirable at getting people in and pulling together to get a job done. My name is Blaine Thacker, and I've been a good friend of Richard since 1964. Part of Richard's value system came from his grandfather's generation, who was a respected lawyer in the city, and then his father, who was in the armed forces and then practiced law here as well. Richard's the third generation, so they have that sense of being part of this community for 3 generations.
I would call Richard steadfast and trustworthy and a man of his word. My name is Rod Draffin. I've known Richard Davidson for 40 plus years. When the opportunity for a candidate for Citizen of the Year came up, Richard immediately came to mind.
Innumerable organizations, whether it's the Golf Club or the Kidney Foundation of Canada, which he was the president of the Kidney Foundation of whole Canada for a number of years, and part of the Country Club as far as golfing, and so he's always been part of getting things going.
Well, I guess I was raised with the philosophy of giving back to the community. My grandfather, with whom I was very close, was very active in the community, as was my father. I'm Richard Davidson. I'm a third-generation resident of Lethbridge and proud of it. I know I spent many hours talking to both my grandfather and my father, and they felt very strongly that, when you raise your family in a community and earn your livelihood in a community, you have a duty to give something back to the community, particularly if you're in a position to be able to do that.
The days when we needed an MRI and they weren't going to be available, and Rich spearheaded, along with the team, and I happened to be on that team, getting funds up to $2 million and then matching funds from the Alberta government to get the MRI in Lethbridge.
But he's been a good husband, he's been a good father of Jimmy and Jill, who are of course married and out making their way in the world as well. But he sticks to it. If he decides something needs his help, then he jumps in and he gives his help. And that takes time away from the practice as well as his family. But he just does that. That's part of his value system.
I've spent a lot of time with the Kidney Foundation. I've served at the local, at the provincial, and at the national level. And I feel that I've been able to make some differences to the way that organization functions. And I believe that through my efforts, and of course the efforts of many others, that's a much better organization. And I left it a couple of years ago after 19 years of involvement as the national vice president.
His impact on Lethbridge has been ongoing. One other thing comes to mind is his time and work with the Lethbridge YMCA over the years in the building committee and expansion. And I know he's a true blue Y supporter.
Richard has benefited this community for now decades, but when his tenure ends as a chancellor of the university, he's also on the early retirement list from the law firm. So his life will go into a different phase, and this is a marvelous gift or recognition of his contributions to our community and thereby to the province and to the country.
What do I get out of it? I guess the satisfaction of knowing that I have given something back to the community. That's what I think it's all about, and I think I've been able to do that, and I've been really happy to do it. I've enjoyed it. It's not something that I've undertaken particularly as a task. It's something that I've enjoyed doing as I've gone along. Obviously, I had to have the support of my family. I know my wife often mentions the number of times that I was away when the kids were growing up at meetings and this and that. So obviously my family and my partners were very supportive. But I think the satisfaction of being able to look back now on it and saying I've done my part and I've given something back to the community that has been so good to me.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lethbridge's 2010 Citizen of the Year, Richard Davidson.